Welcome to DiversityMBAPrep.com. I'm Nicole Lindsay, and today we're talking about how to showcase leadership potential in your MBA application. Every MBA program is in the business of developing leaders. If you look at their mission, their website, statements from the dean and missions director, frankly, if you talk to anyone associated with an MBA program, the theme of leadership will come up. And I suspect that for most of us, when we think of MBA or business school, leaders and leadership are words that we associate with business school. Now, that may not be the only thing that comes to mind, particularly these days, but leadership is important. MBA admissions officers are going to sell you on leadership. They're going to tout that their school develops leaders. And in many cases they do, but not every MBA graduate is a leader. Not by any stretch of the imagination. But every MBA graduate had the opportunity to develop as a leader, to study the principles of leadership and different leadership styles, to analyze case studies of successful leaders with the hope that they would then apply that to themselves in their own approach to leadership and leadership style. I bring this up now because it's my expectation that in pretty short order you're going to be an MBA student. And it's my hope that when you get on campus, you will give some focus to the study of leadership. Too many MBA students focus on the short term when they're in school. They focus on getting that first job and the skills that they need in that first job, and that's important. But they also have the opportunity to develop skills that will serve them in the long term, when they get into positions of authority, when the decisions that they make don't impact a few, they impact thousands. And so I hope that you will spend time becoming a principal leader when you get on a business school campus. So thank you for allowing me that aside on developing your leadership skills in business school, but I know you're focused on actually getting into business school in the first place. In demonstrating your leadership potential, there are a couple of things that I want you to consider. First, when, where, how have you demonstrated impact? When have you had positive impact on a process, a project, a team, an organization? What did you do? What was the action that you took to achieve a positive result, to move whatever that thing was forward? I encourage you to think about every accomplishment you've had, large and small, because some of those small examples that you might not kind of showcase as the first thing on your resume are in fact really great examples of leadership. When something was not your job or in your job description, when you took initiative to get it done, that's a great example of leadership, right? But that may not have been directly associated with a role that you put on your resume. So think about where you've had impact. The next piece is around leading in teams. So when business schools talk about leadership, a lot of times they really want to get at your teamwork and kind of your collaborative leadership, how you work with other people, how you're able to influence them. Do you listen? Do you have empathy? Are you considerate? So also think about how you've worked with others. So a lot of times when people think of leadership, it's like, okay, well, when I was running something, when I was in charge, when I had a leadership title, and those are important. But there are times when maybe you didn't have an official title and you were part of a team, or maybe you were a subordinate on a team and there was someone else who was in charge. How did you have impact then? Really important to business schools because you will work in teams, and they also know that most of us, when we get into the workforce, work in teams constantly, and it's a key to our success to even get the opportunity to lead with the title. The last suggestion I have is to consider how you incorporate leadership in every aspect of the application process. So many schools will ask you an essay question about leadership, but don't limit your response or your discussion of leadership to that. Make sure that you can showcase leadership in everything that you do and deliver to the admissions committee, whether it be your application form where you are responding to short answer questions or listing your activities, in your resume, in your recommendation, and encouraging your recommenders to talk about both your demonstrated leadership and your leadership potential. and also in your interactions with admissions officers, with current students, with alumni. We'll talk about relationship management in another module, but that's also an opportunity when you talk about yourself, when you talk about your accomplishments and your background, to approach it from a position of leadership. Not arrogance, not bragging, but around leadership and being thoughtful about the impacts that you were able to have. To learn more about demonstrating your leadership potential, please visit diversitymbaprep.com. As always, let us know if this information was helpful and if there's other information that we can provide. We are excited to be on this MBA journey with you. Be well.